All right, so it's 3 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and start. I appreciate you all joining. Hopefully other people will join us as time goes on. If not, this will be recorded and we'll push it out to all the groups, IPI, PhotoSource, Pro, and other ones. Again, thank you for taking the time to come see our new offering. The idea behind this offering is not just to offer film services through the website and kiosks, but really to create more automation at the retail location around film scanning. For those of you who know me, I started in film scanning years and years ago at a company called Floppy Shots. And that's how I got on this whole photo bandwagon, going way back. So it's kind of fun to go back to film scanning and make it part of our offerings again. As you know, there's been a resurgence in film usage throughout the market, especially in single-use cameras. So what we tried to do is create a nice website for ordering, where customers can come in and place orders for film services, including scanning, developing, and printing. And then also to create an automation for uploading those rolls of film into a system, to then broadcast it to consumers to add to their account, view the images, and then order additional products through it. And the whole idea is to create a ecosystem for film to exist within your system. Now, this film system is also designed for gather boxes or scanner boxes, as you might call it if you're not an IPI member, for restoration, for retouch-ups and touch-up imaging. Any type of digital services can be used for this same upload service. And we're going to go over some of the use cases in general. So one of the things you should know about this is we've had customers playing with film scanning for quite some time. And we had a very manual process where you go into MyLab and then you would, I'll just make sure I'm off mute. You go into MyLab and then you would log in as the customer and place images in their account. And it was kind of cumbersome, but it worked pretty well. The drawbacks to that are a couple. One, labor involved. Drawback number two was that actually in Europe, you're not allowed to do that. In Europe, there's something called GDPR, and you're not logging into a customer's account is actually frowned upon. So in Europe, what you want to do is use our new system for sure. The other drawback was a lot of people were using WeTransfer or Dropbox or some similar service, which has an external cost, additional external cost, but then also a cumbersome process for the customer to get those images, download them, and then reorder those products. So anyway, let's take a look at how film services can work. Each one of your labs, you can lay out the layout any way you would like it. You can have whatever rolls of film you want. So for example, this is our film services page that we proposed. If you start with our system, you're going to get a page similar to this. When the customer comes in, they would simply choose the type of film they have. They would say what size scan they want and whether they want high res or what type of prints they want. Now you can configure that any way you want. For example, you could go in through single-use cameras and you could do the high res again, and then you could say no prints or prints. So any way you want to do this, you're going to lay out your specific products with what options you have for the consumer to choose from. An example of the way another customer currently does it through testing is Sammy's camera. And Sammy does an incredible amount of film scanning through their system right now. The way Sammy's does it is that you come in to do C41 film, and then you want to do develop only, you want to push one stop, push two stop, that type of thing. So basically you can configure it any way you want. So our system comes with this new page that allows you to do a hierarchical searching of letting the customer choose exactly what they want, and then adding that to cart and then checking out. Okay. So once I check out, it's simply the customer will then get a confirmation email, which will look like this. So they'll get a new confirmation email. So part of the new scanning system is this secondary email that comes with the confirmation email, and then each product can have a secondary confirmation email. So for film, it may say, thank you for choosing to develop with us. If you're going to mail it in, click here to printing mailing label. Otherwise, drop it off at one of our convenient locations. So there'll be a new email that can go with specific products. The great thing is that same email system that we just developed, it's called product tagged emailing, will work for any product. So if they order prints and then a prestige photo book, the secondary email could say, please allow 7 to 10 days for your prestige photo book to come in. So now there's a secondary confirmation email based on product type that's going to exist, which is new. So the customer ordered the roll of film, and then they again get this confirmation email. But what happens at the store is the Pro Uploader will receive that order. So this is a new product that will reside in your store. And this product does not have to run on the Lab 50 machine. It can run on any machine in your store. A matter of fact, not in the first release, but a 1.1, it'll even run on a Macintosh. So if you want to run Mac, you can run this on a Mac. Every order that's placed by the customer will be logged in and sitting as a pending order in the system. It'll be sitting there. So if somebody orders through the kiosk, or they order on the website, or they order on their mobile device, they'll all be sitting here as pending jobs. And then all the operator has to do when they go to scan that roll of film is simply, let's pick one that doesn't have anything. Go ahead and go here. Is simply drag and drop the folders that were scanned into the set and then start upload. Okay. And then what will happen is, contact the administrator, I'm logged out. Good thing it's a prototype. And then what will happen is they'll go in the upload activity and then it'll start uploading into the system. It's as simple as that. So you go here, edit. I can add another roll of film. You can do it through the add dialog, or you can just drag and drop. And then you say start upload, and then it would start uploading, you put in the upload key. So once that's done, it'll then start uploading the system. Notice I didn't have to have the customer's email address. I didn't have to send anything. I just clicked the roll of film that I scanned and I hit the upload button. Then the customer will get an email that looks similar to this. Thank you for your digital scans. Simply click here to view your photos, and then it'll log in as the customer, and then they can view their photos right here. Test 1 and test 2 is what I just uploaded. And then they can simply order photos as if normal. So there's no more logging in as the customer. The operator doesn't have to know anything except to click on that roll of film and then upload it. It's as simple as that. Some of the things that Sammy's done to make this more effective is he actually put this, now again, he's in the photo industry, so when I asked for a photo of it, he gave me the best photo he could take, which is not very good. But he has this QR code sitting at his counter. So when customers come to check in roll of film, instead of having somebody take their bag number and ask them what they want and how many prints they want and whether they want high res or low res and so on and so forth, the customer just shoots this with their phone. They do their QR code. Then they order the process, they get an order number, and they hand in a roll of film. And then from that point forward, no operator needs to type anything about the customer in ever again. They simply go into the Pro Uploader, select that roll of film, and go. Now, what if the customer doesn't want to check in through the kiosk, the mobile device, or phone? You can still create new orders manually by going in here and typing in the information for the customer yourself. And then you just choose the type of services they were going to use. I'm just creating a digital file for now. And then I can then tag in the roll of film. And then I can start the upload. And then boom, it goes through the system, and now it's uploading. There's an upload queue that'll show you the images. These are already been uploaded because I got a fast connection. And there you go. It's as simple as that. So you could create the so if your process, your point of sale system is such that you can't do it through the kiosk or through their website, which is what we recommend, they could still do it manually for the customer. However, over time, I think you're always going to want to have the customers do it. Think of the way airlines are now. With an airline, you buy a ticket online, you print out your ticket online, you go to a kiosk, you pick your seat at the kiosk yourself, check in your bags yourself, and then you go to security, and oftentimes you don't even talk to a human. It kind of creates an automation for the system. It lowers labor rates, and labor being what it is now, that's what we're all trying to do. So you can make it so your film check-in and check-off is the same thing. Zero labor impact, let the customers do the work. And I can tell you right now, for a customer that's an IPIM Pro member, if you're IPIM Pro, you can reach out to Richie, maybe you can ask him some questions. He's been very successful with this, basically the same system. And then if you're a PhotoSource member and you don't know the IPIM Pro members, we can put you in touch with other people who've been successful. I know other labs that are online have also been successful. Now you can imagine how this works for also gather boxes. So if you wanted to go in, the customer can then check in and create a gather box, which will then give them the same instructions for how to take their prints and turn it in. They check out, And then those gather boxes will be sitting in the Pro Uploader as well. Restorations are going to work the same way, and so are touch-ups. So everything that's going to come in analog is going to come into this spot to be able to upload right into the customer's account so they can manage it. And I'm keeping it short and sweet just to show off this one feature today. So I'm going to open it up to questions if anybody's got any questions or comments on our film services system. If you have questions, simply put something in the chat or the Q&A, and we'll be happy to open up your microphone, or we'll ask your question for you. Can the customer, oh, Larry Steiner's got a great question. Can the customer download the files? Yes, so what they would do is, where was my open window? All they would do is on this test set 2, they would simply say download, and they would download a zip file, and then it would download the zip file to their computer. Simple as that. And that's how our system currently works, so all accounts. So it's no different than our current system as it sits now. So they can download files, certainly. And it's the original resolution, high res.
You can also, Steve, check off not allow a download. So if they're using this for something else, you know, just to preview photos, they can turn that off.
Yeah, that's a good point, Rachel. So based on feedback actually from Mike Ross at the show, what we did was we made it so that you could have a develop and print without a scan option, where the customer doesn't pay for scan, and then you can upload into their account, and they can not download those images by setting a watermark in our system. So then they could just view the images, and they can just order them, but they can't download. So that is an optional option that can be set in the system. So Ken Thompson asks, once the files have been uploaded, how long does the customer have to either download or place an order? Well, they could download, the images will be up there for 30 days. And then after 30 days, they'll be purged. But at any point in time, if they create a membership in your system, they can add that roll of film to their membership. We can't add it automatically based on privacy rules, especially in the European Union. So what you have to do now is let the customer actively add it to their account themselves. And if they choose to do that, it'll be then stored forever. If the customer has an account and uses the email on that account, will the images show up? The answer to that is no, only because we're being very extra careful with the GDPR rules in Europe. We could probably do it, but it would create havoc with some of the user deletion requests and all that stuff. So it's better just to let the customer actively add it themselves.
They'll be presented with an option when they first click on that link.
When they first click on the link, they'll say, would you like to add this to your account? And then it'll automatically add it to their account.
And also if they choose to, you know, maybe they want to forward that email to a family member, that family member would have the same ability to create an account and add the role to their account too.
Exactly. So the way that works, if you didn't know already, customers can share. Oh, that's refresh. I got to be logged in to do a share, don't I? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if I was logged in and this they added to their membership, they can then do sharing right from our system. If you haven't tried the sharing functions, we can show that later, or you can check out some of our downloads from our YouTube channel for how to share collections. But that's built into our system of memberships. If somebody uploads a gather box, they add it to their account, they can then share it with as many friends and families as they want. They can even put passwords and permissions on it. So it's quite flexible in that regard. Let me see if I'm logged in on any one of my accounts here. Let me see that first. No, I'm not logged in. I'm trying to figure out when I'm logged in at. Oh, yeah, so here. So now if you notice, I'm logged into this account right here. Imagine this was a film upload. I could then easily go into the share functionality and share the collection with anybody I'd like. And then it shares that collection with whomever you're sharing with. So the same thing could occur if the customer had added this roll of film into their account. Where was Few photos, there it was. Okay. How long are images stored? Is it in depth? If a customer already has an account, sorry, Dan, let me ask this. If a customer already has an account and uses the email, how long are the images stored indefinitely? So yeah, sorry, if they are a member, they are stored as long as you're a customer of ours. So your images, their images are stored as long as you're a customer of Photo Finale. Okay, Ethan has a question. If a guest enters their email incorrectly when placing an order, can it be updated using the uploader to send the files? You would have to do that through MyLab, but I believe the answer is yes. If not, our support team could help you with that. Because it uses the email as a token, it may not be the simplest thing in the world, but if a customer doesn't enter their email incorrectly, you can do that. I would recommend at that point, probably just canceling the order and start to do a new order for the customer. So in that case, you would just, in the Pro Uploader, just create a new order with the correct email address. It's probably what I would do. Images are stored indefinitely as long as they're a member. If they're not a member, they're stored for 30 days. We outsource our lab. Could we provide the lab with our account? So the good news there is yes. So we're going to have OutLab services, film scanning and gather boxes as OutLab service in version 1.1, which will be coming down the road. However, if you had somebody that was your OutLab and you trusted them, you could give them your credentials, and then they could log into a version of Pro Uploader that would be your version, and they could do that. And they would simply just log out of their version and log into your version, and then as long as they're willing to do that work, that will work. But ultimately downstream, it'll be an outsourced product, just like any other product, where third parties can fulfill it for you. Can you have multiple pricing structures? Yes. When you're pricing the products, it's just like any other Photo Finale product. So you could create, let me go back to my film services page. So you could create any hierarchy of pricing that you'd like. You could do it based on roll of film, type of film, and then when they go in here, you're going to create this hierarchy. Do you want to have a different price for low res scans? And then do you want a different price for the number of prints, maybe for 36 exposures versus 27 exposures? You're going to have different pricing. So certainly you can do all that. And that will be built into the system. So you're just basically going to be creating a catalog of exactly what you sell and how you do it. You can also add attributes on this, which is how a lot of people are probably going to do the push one stop, pull one stop situation. So you'd have all this, and then when I go to order, it'll have an option, a pull down to say, would you like to push one stop, plus one stop, so on and so forth. So you could probably do that as an attribute. Okay, this is all, so somebody named user is asking, I missed your explanation of when a customer brings a film to the store. So essentially what they're going to do is they're going to be on the website, on their phone or their kiosk, either one of the three, order that roll of film. They'll then get a secondary email that'll tell them what to do with it. So let me just find that email. I'm on my windows here. And that email will look like this, and it'll say something like, thank you for choosing to develop your film. If you want to mail it, click this mailing label and attach it. If you want to bring it into our convenient locations, and that'll be the instructions. So they can just print their mailing label, and then it'll print the mailing label. We have some customers doing that already. For example, one of our good customers, Dominion Camera, currently provides a mailing label for all their customers. So this would just be an automated fashion of doing that. Rex, we're going to have, so Rex is asking, we're going to have this recorded and I'll send it to you after the show, after the presentation. I think you've answered both questions. Okay, great. Thanks, Dan. Sounds perfect. All right, Ken Thompson, is there an option for the customer to pay for shipping the originals back to them? So yeah, what I would recommend actually, let's say, for example, you're doing a prepaid mailing label through USPS. I would have an option when you come in here, and it'd be 35 millimeter drop off in store. Maybe you do 35 millimeter mail back, and you can have different options at the top level, or you can do that as an option at the bottom level. So you're just going to figure out how you want the customer to walk through the hierarchy. And then once you do, you can price it differently for the products. But it's just like any of our other catalogs. You can have as many products as you want and nest them however is appropriate for the consumer. So we'll work with you on that. Is there an option for the pay for shipping? Where I get that? Is this uploader service Noritsu compatible? We're scanning with an old DS. So what you would do, yes. So if you're using a Noritsu, what you would do is this Pro Uploader tool, sorry, is running on a just on a computer in your store, likely where your Lab 50 is. It could be any other system, and then you would have a shared folder. And instead of this being pointed to my pictures folder, this would be pointed to your QSS or your Noritsu folder, whatever you call that. And then you would just see the folder there, and then you would drag it and drop it into the order, and that's it.
It also runs on a Mac.
It also runs on a Mac. So if you happen to have a Mac, you can do it. It also will be compatible with the Fuji Frontier system in the same fashion. Is there a separate pricing structure for this? No, this is, if they're ordering through the web, it's the same pricing structure. There's no difference. If they order through the kiosk, again, that's rev share free. There's no cost associated with it. So depending on how the customers do it, is how you're going to profit. What formats are supported? So right now the upload supported is JPEG only for now. We're not supporting TIFF or PNG files in the scans. That may be subject to change, but right now it's not. We could support TIFF. The problem is it's so much data. Our pricing structure would have to switch because some of those people want uncompressed TIFF. So if you're doing TIFF files, it will not work in our current system. But if you're doing JPEG, which is the majority of the customers, it'll work perfectly. So right now the cost for the whole system, the new communication system, the custom landing pages for GatherBox's restoration and for film, as well as the uploader, all goes for $1,000, but we have a special right now for $750. And then that'll get you all in. There's no annual recurring fee. There's no licensing for the Pro Uploader. Once you're in, you're in. And then there's a $15 a month bundle, just like our other bundles, for the bandwidth cost. So similar to what you would pay Dropbox or WeTransfer or something like that. So you'll be just in our bundle tier, so it'll be $15 a month to upload. For the upload service, $750 to get into the uploader package. And that covers all your stores. So if you're multiple stores, it'll cover all your stores. Up to a certain number. So that's for independents. In case I got some of the bigger guys here listening, that does not apply for larger clients. Will the uploader handle multiple labs? Yes, it will. There's going to be an option for what store you're in. So you would see the pending orders for your store, if it's store pickup. So they'll, just like Lab 50 have the filter settings, this has the same filter settings. When will the service be released? So we're hoping to beta at the end of next week. We have some beta customers already selected, and then released as soon as we feel like it's finished. So probably, I would say, we hope to have it out by the end of August, is where we'd like to be right now. So Larry's got a question. Is the mailing label to include prepaid postage or customer pays the postage? So most people are not going to do the prepaid postage, mostly because shipping just got expensive these days. But you can include it. Some customers do include the prepaid envelope. So it depends on how you want to price it. Most of the customers I see today are just doing a mailing label to make it easy for them to put it in a box and ship it to you. Can we customize the text on the label page and you have when you receive scans? Yes. All the emails that you saw are all HTML and they're fully customizable. You can put whatever you want in here. This is just a very basic looking email, but you can put pictures, you can put charts, you can put a link to your location in there through Google API. You can put anything you want in these emails, and we can help you configure those. No, so most of the scanners right now, somebody's asking a question, do we support Hike? Most scanners are not uploading, are not scanning to Hike. So right now the uploader is JPEG only. If we saw the scanners switching to the Hike format, we would probably look to add that. That would be more efficient for photo finale, certainly. But right now it's JPEG only. So any other questions? It's a very simple system, but the automation is going to really save a lot of time in your store. Like I said, Sammy's has been automating this way through the QR code and operating right through the website on the phone. And he's seen great success with customer satisfaction and also with store satisfaction, because they're not having to write down a bag with every single customer. They're just showing me the order number and handing the roll of film and walking out. And oftentimes customers are actually printing the receipt before they come in the store and just handing over the roll of film with the printed receipt, which would be the most efficient way to handle that from a labor standpoint.
Another question on there, Steve.
There is. Some customers like things to be frictionless. Would there be a way to include a download all option in the original email? I don't know if we can link to that functionality, but I'll take that as a good question. I don't see why we couldn't link to a download all button. I just don't know if, how it would work exactly. So the answer is that's a great idea. We hadn't considered it, and we'll get an answer back to you shortly. For those of you guys don't know, Dan's asked a lot of questions on here. He's got a great website called photozone.co.uk, and he's done a lot of customizations to his website look. He's a good one to look at and watch. He's a good operator. Any other questions? Oh, Fairview. For restorations, would the customer send their damaged photo the same as they would the film to be scanned? Or do they need to scan it and send it in? Okay, so this is a good question. I believe, and I have seen, I know of somebody who's testing right now, all their restorations done by the consumer based on taking a photo with their own iPhone or Android phone of the image at home and submitting it through the website. So no formal scanning at a store at all. And the results of the restoration are substantially similar to what happens with a normal store scan. So I could see a point where a lot of restoration is being done in a self-service fashion by the consumer. Now, is it going to be as good as a professional drum scanned restoration image? No, it won't be. However, most people want that picture of grandma to be restored and just shared online through Facebook and otherwise. And it's going to be fantastic for that. So it could be that there's a restoration service where upload your image that you took yourself, we'll restore it, and that's for this price, and it's a low res restoration. And then we have our super duper premium fine art restoration for this price. I can see that being something that occurs. I know of another customer of ours who's a brand new customer we met at IPI, who allows people to come in and use their scanners in a gym membership type of way. And in that case, the customer is scanning their own images and submitting for restoration that way. It's another way to go. I don't think you have to all be all things to all people. I think you figure out what works for your brand. But I can see the majority of restorations in the future being fully done by the customer and fully automated by the customer, and you're not touching anything, the image or otherwise, at the store level. And we could do YouTube videos for how to get good lighting and get a good shot with your iPhone. It's the kind of thing that you could see people doing in their homes. Just shoot like 15 or 20 photos themselves, set them up, submit them to you, have you restore them, and then they can download them, print them, or do whatever they want with it. So I see restoration going the way that film is. We also see digital retouch-ups being as big as restorations, and they're going to be delivered the same way. So think about that. I took a picture of my daughter and my wife at the beach, and there's a huge fat guy sitting in the corner. I just want that guy removed. Those digital retouch-ups are things people are going to submit through the website, have it restored through or retouched up either by you or by a third party, and then use the uploader to resubmit that back to the customer to view and then do whatever they want with those photos. I think retouch-ups can be as big as anything in our market, and I think it'll be bigger than restoration over time. Remove the telephone wires, take out the braces, those type of things. I think that those things are going to be automated, and the uploader is going to be a big part of what does that. Any other questions? Please repeat the web address in the UK. I'll just type it in. Hope you don't mind the shout out, Dan. It's your fault for my employees liking it. So photozone.co UK. He's done a great job because he's a photographer, and he's taken clear shots of all those products and built really nice custom pages for every product. He spelled placemat wrong. So he's done a great job of customizing and knocking off a website that looks very nice, very clean. But the key to most websites is a good photo shoot of your product images, making it look like your business, and so on and so forth. So you can take a look at PhotoZone to get ideas. Will CD DVD be available among the dev print packages listed? I don't see why not. You could add that as either as a attribute. So the question is, will CD, DVD, or USBs be an option for the film development scan? You could certainly add it as one of your hierarchies, or you could just add it as an attribute to add a CD, add DVD. That is certainly something that's possible. So it could either be inside here as an option, or it could be an attribute at the time of adding to the photo. So that's a brand level issue. So it's certainly possible. Uh-oh, Dan says there's a new site coming soon. All right, everybody stay tuned. All right. Any other questions? Feel free. We're excited about this. We know film services have been a phenomenal business lately, and what really sold us on this is the success we've seen some of you guys have. And I'll pick on Sammy's, is really doing a phenomenal job with their film scanning services. I mean, they tripled their online sales when they started adding their film scanning as part of their web and mobile experience and putting that QR code up front. They have done phenomenal with it. And they cut down labor and made it more consistent, which is really the key, especially if you're in a market like LA where labor is very expensive. All right, well, I don't want to waste everybody's time for all day, but if you have any more questions, put them out now. Otherwise, I'll thank you for your time. Reach out to your salesman if you have any time or questions. Reach out to Rachel or me if you have anything you want to talk about, or of course, Matt and Chris are always available, and you guys know how to get a hold of them. So without any other questions, I appreciate your time. Thank you. Bye-bye.